So now, number one thing, when you're working with hip regeneration, the nerves that supply come out of the thoracolumbar junction, L2 right about here. And then you also have to pay biomechanics attention, the calf, the foot, the knee, everything. And so right now, there is a lateral deviation here. I'm distracting the joint, and that's filling up the joint with fluid. Now the discs are 70% fluid. But they get their nutrients through movement. When you've had an alteration in structure from some type of accident, we have to restore that fluid, and then that restores that communication back up to the brain, because these muscles, they're not under conscious control. So now that the joint is moving, the table is going to drop down, and then makes a slight pressure, and that creates inflammation at the level of the disc, creates inflammation. I said that because inflammation is not a drag and attacking you. It's literally how the body regenerates. Now here's the greater trochanter, that's the iliac crest. The neck of the femur goes up about 125 degrees, and so I'm palpating on the gluteus medius. It's interesting, the gluteus medius here is the main hip stabilizer for this side. However, when you're looking at the sensors of that joint capsule, I'm going to be vibrating that joint capsule because that controls the tone or the sensory input to the brain, as well as the tone of the hamstrings and the quadriceps. Yeah, so that's moving excellent. Now, since we've got one that I can't lift, stabilizing the pelvis, and I'm lifting this area, opening up that joint capsule on both areas. Just think that the femur head is generally round, and the joint capsule, we've got to irritate all the ranges of motion so the body can regenerate. If you stop moving a joint or move a joint less and less, then it perpetuates the less and less movement. You want to move the joint more, then you create more movement. The bummer is that if you move a joint and it hurts, then you're going to stop moving it. And so what I'll first do is move this, and if I don't see any hip motion or recruiting, then I'll grab this, and I'm still looking for the hip motion, and it's not. I'm able to move it this far without a heck of a lot of hip motion, and that's a good thing. When I raise up, you'll see the whole body shift off to the side. That's because the quadriceps is firing off, trying to keep her in a bent over position. But I'm going to be moving that in, out, up, down to create a little bit of inflammation in the whole joint capsule so her body can regenerate. And this is the de-stress out the thoracic area. It's called an angiotension release. We've got one more going to do there. And then you drop this down. Okay, darling, lie on your left side, your right side up. Okay. Now you'll see on all of our adjustments, the head's not turned, body's not turned and twisted. Because the more you twist the body, the more negative influences you have going up to the brain. And all the adjustments are to change the brain's view of the body or proprioception. Now you'll see, if you look down here, we're not twisting or turning the spine. If you look down here, okay, neutral position, and you're just here in the table drop. And force is massive acceleration, so it's very, very easy until the change in tone of those muscles go right on your back. And then based on the neck, x-rays, you know, the head has been massively transpositioned like that. So this is the cervical thoracic junction. You'll see there's no turning in the head. The more you turn the head, the less effective you're going to be. Now I hold her here for a moment. Now by holding her here, that changes the sensory input, relaxing the muscles. So I'm able to move that joint pretty easy. And then this is the segment right above. When I grab down at C5, C6, where there's a little bit of damage, and I just hold her here, and then a slight impulse. I'm going to go back and double check. You see the cute little smile? That means she's feeling good. Yeah, she's experienced. Had a lot of first timers. It's totally okay. Okay, so now I'm going to apply pressure on the right side, left side, and right side. I'm going to lift her up. Oh. And so that's doing the same force loading when it rains in 3 different attitudes. Now I'm going to the top front of the pelvis, the ASIS. And again, creating a little bit of vibration. And this vibration, 10 seconds a second, loosens up the ligaments. And the joint capsule is a ligament. Then very, very easy. And again, when you're doing this on hips that are regenerating, you got to look at the pelvic motion. So I'm lifting up and there's no movement. Right there, there is. So I know that's causing a bit of apprehension, maybe not discomfort, but apprehension. So I'm not going to hold it below that and do this, where I'm just going low and high to get her brain to change. Because if I wanted information from her, I'd shove it all the way up. No, I'm just kidding. Then, of course, she'd kick me with the other leg, which is wrapped somewhat in steel, so that would not be good. So just this bit of motion is going to be enough. Now I can support and open up that knee joint. And she's allowing me to move it. And that distraction is going to create a negative pressure. And figure all the joints in the body are full of fluid. And that fluid, synovial fluid, is changed all the time. And the way human beings are built is half of the time when you're walking, this thing is swinging in the air, half of the time you're compressing it. And so I'm decompressing and compressing, decompressing and compressing the joint so the fluid transfer can be complete and the body can recover. Now this, I want to do the same thing because her knee hasn't bent really well because she fractured the patella, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, not many. I don't know a lot of people that fractured the patella. I fractured my patella in 1982, falling off a 3-story building. Although when I told her that, she said it wasn't the fall, it was the landing. And I thought, you sarcastic girl. But she is right. It was the landing, not the fall. So now this one, even though we're about 3.5 weeks from the fracture.
Well, really, it's 3 weeks since this.
3 weeks, yeah.
Since the surgery.
Yeah, 3 weeks from the surgery, 3.5 from
Yeah.
the fracture. Okay, so now I'm not bending it completely, but I'm also looking at the recruitment of the pelvis, so I can get this up there as much as possible. Now she's going to be recruiting, like right there, you can see the pelvis go up. I'm going to make sure, because if I just move this, you're going to see some apprehension because the knee hasn't bent for a while. But we got to get some motion in there to get the synovial fluid production up so the joint can repair faster. One of the big mistakes people do is they listen to the doctor and they say, oh, don't move it at all. Don't do anything.
Yeah,
okay,
they
that's
do.
going to take forever to regenerate. So super easy. And then I'm going to distract the joint. And she's going to say, hey, that doesn't hurt my knee or hip at all. It's actually going to feel good.
Yeah.
Look at the smile. Censored. And that is how you strain the hip so the hip can regenerate. You have to create a local inflammatory response so the body can regenerate. Then you change the sleep patterns, physical, chemical, emotional stress, do pre and post x-rays to identify the problem and show that we fixed it. And then you do supportive stuff like nutrient IVs or detoxing IVs. I'd probably work on a sense of humor if I had one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
I keep wanting to extend my stay another week. I already did 2. Now I'm like, what's another week?
What's another week?
We did 9 weeks last year.
We did?
Yeah.
Wow.
The best decision we ever made.
See?
Rise, my dear.
Done. Thank you.
She's
I thought
perfect.
it was really like, lunch.